Welcome to From the Mezzanine, a film podcast. We're two guys from the Midwest who love all things film. We are not professionals, we don't speak on behalf of a larger website, and we're not here to sell you men's razors and meal kits. Each week, we put our own money on the line to tell you what is the best and the worst in theaters, on streaming, and on video on demand.
This presentation contains copyrighted materials that have been used under the fair use provisions of U.S. copyright law. Further use, duplication, or distribution is prohibited. And live from Minot, North Dakota, I am Chuck Crane.
I'm Matt.
And we are here from the Mezzanine, where we have a lot of ground to cover in a very brief amount of time. As Matt reminded me when I called to delay the stream yesterday, it's Valentine's Day tomorrow. And it's
today.
That's today. Well, that's what you were saying.
Well,
yeah.
Yesterday.
And I was like, oh, yeah, it's also my girlfriend's birthday. So, yeah, we better squeeze this in where we can. But the move was successful. Lots of road work. I'm sick of listening to podcasts. Let's just put it that way. And I hope I never have to see an equipment dolly again. But I spent a lot of time pondering the question that we parted with last week. What is a documentary that most changed your worldview, changed the way you live your day-to-day life, or made the largest impact on you? And it's a really tough question to answer, honestly, because there's just so many documentaries that have affected me in some way. But the one that it just makes me, relate to the people I care about differently, and to be, I guess, a little bit more, guarded with people as I get to know them in certain scenarios. But the movie Dear Zachary, have you ever seen that?
You know what? That's what I picked too.
No shit.
Yeah.
Oh,
I swear
wow.
to God. Yeah. So yeah, give me your reasons. I know exactly what it is. So
yeah, I'm just gonna pull up a trailer for it here. But yeah, it communicates so much about the human condition, and it's just one of the most powerfully constructed narratives, especially if you go in cold not knowing anything. But just seeing the way that all these different people had been affected by the gentleman who's the main focus of it, but like just all the stories they have about this person, the full life he lived and whatnot. It's like it just made me want to live a life that was as rich and and as affecting as that, not to out of some arrogance, but just it's like if that dude can just be himself and impact so many people in such a profound way, that like that's a life worth living, I guess. It's like just seeing this, the story of who he was and what happened to him and how much was taken away, by the ultimately the villain of this very sad and tragic story. I don't want to spoil it for anyone who hasn't seen it, but yeah.
Basically, for anyone who doesn't know, it's the movie was made by the director is a friend of the guy the movie centers around, and it has to do with his girlfriend murdered him and then revealed that she was having his kid shortly after she killed him.
Yeah.
And the director wanted to make the film as like a scrapbook, a video scrapbook of his life to give to the kid. And it's one of those films that I love, documentaries that start out about one thing and then they turn into something else. Like they kind of, they find, the director finds like a more interesting path to take the film on, and he kind of follows his nose, and that kind of happens in this. There's a lot of twists, and I also chose it because like it's just so like devastating.
Yes,
it's pretty. This was like one of the most like fucked movies I have ever seen, and not in like a gory way, not in like a messed up imagery way, but just like you're thinking about it for like the week after you see it, and even after that, like even now, it came out in 2008, I think.
Yeah, and that's when I saw it. It was like one of the first Netflix streaming experiences I had. Home for Christmas, my parents using my Xbox to stream Netflix on it. Mm-hmm. And that's what I chose to watch. And I'm just watching it alone, sobbing my fucking, face off.
Yeah.
Halfway through. Like, it wasn't even at the end yet. Mm-hmm. Like, there's that one particular shot where they show his baby picture and his son's baby picture side by side, and you're just like, holy fuck, like, identical. Yeah. But just the saga of what happens after, everything, like everything involving his parents having to have some grace to be around the woman who potentially killed their son just so they can have a taste of their grandchild. And just it kind of turns into a bit of a polemic at the end, but it already covered so much ground, from just like a memorial film to, like a very intimate documentary about one of the most horrible things that can happen to a person or a family. And it reminded me of Capturing the Friedmans, but in this there's no ambiguity. It's a little bit more clear cut, but it packs the same punch emotionally, just because like everyone is being as real as possible, in this. It's like they all just look like every single character looks like they've like experienced something truly horrible, and by the end of the movie, so have you.
Yeah, and it's pretty wild. Like, and this far on, there's actually a follow-up documentary short that's free on YouTube that kind of tells about the sweeping changes that this film made within the Canadian legal system. And the director actually donated all of the profits from the movie to a scholarship in the name of the man who was killed in the movie. So yeah, it's pretty wild. There's just so many things that changed as a result of this movie. I think he also sent the movie for free to like every member of the Canadian Parliament or something.
Yeah, like he went hard. Yeah, and you got to respect that, because like inside every documentary filmmaker is a bit of an activist. Unless you're Werner Herzog and you're literally just there for the lulz, basically. But everybody else has got like a major point to make, and or like they have like some goal that they wanted to achieve, and you actually saw something concrete, come, as far as reforms go, and that's a kind of a rare thing. If you think about it, like they're still killing dolphins somewhere around Japan, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But that's just how it goes, in this very mean world we live in. But there was a certain, like big game yesterday. I hesitate to use the real word. I don't know. Do they still care? Are they going to sue us? But there was lots of if I say it, but there was movie trailers that were, shown around the Super Bowl, and first and foremost, we finally got a look at Nope. Yeah. And like I said on my Facebook post about this movie, or about the trailer rather, but my reaction was just, what? But like this whole like opening narration where it's like a reality show, like bumper recording about this like brother sister, or maybe he's her husband, I'm not sure. Wacky wailing inflatable arm tube men everywhere. It's about horses. Maybe it's about aliens. What do we actually know about this movie?
Yeah, so I mean that's pretty much it. You covered it, but everybody, I think the consensus at this point is that it is aliens, something having to do with aliens. And I guess my sort of wild out there theory is that because the very first poster for this showed a cloud with like a kite string coming out of it.
Yeah.
And my guess is that because the movie's about like these horse ranchers, these horse wranglers for Hollywood movies, is that these two people, this brother and sister, find out that aliens are using clouds as like either ships, or they're using it to hide their ships. And they somehow wrangle the clouds with the aliens in them, and they turn their farm into like a Roswell, New Mexico tourist trap type thing.
What?
And that's my I know That's my crazy out there theory. I haven't run this by anybody yet, but that's kind of my theory based off, because I mean, why else, why else have a movie about like horse wranglers for Hollywood films? Like it'd be such like a weird random thing if it didn't play into like the movie somehow. But yeah, that's my guess, is that they like somehow wrangle the aliens and then turn their farm into a tourist trap. But
great title.
What about you? Do you have any
if I have a guess, it's got to be because either that's just like a rodeo that like Stephen Yeun.
Yep.
Yeah, where he's like a talker, like whatever, like the person who does the commentary, the live commentary at the rodeo. I don't know what he's doing there, but yeah, the whole angle of them doing it, of turning it into a tourist trap makes me laugh though. And it would be really goofy, but it's like, then that begs the question. So are these like fifth dimensional entity, UFOs and not, gray men in spaceships? Like, is this like some like, super intelligent entity that appears as like an orb and they just catch it and accidentally and start fucking around with it? I guess, I don't know.
Yeah. I have no idea.
We'll have to see, but like now that we have that trailer, I feel like I know less than I knew before, just because it's just so out there.
Yeah.
I guess very briefly. Oh yeah, we're not going to talk about The Lost City. Every trailer for that I've seen makes me want to die.
Yeah, me too. That's the only quick thing I'll say about it is it looks like a fake movie set within a movie.
Yes.
It looks like the trailers that were before Tropic Thunder, if you remember those.
I do. I actually I watched that whole pre-roll recently, actually, while I was packing. And we also got the first look at what looks to be a rather, faithfully gorgeous, creation of Middle-earth from the Rings of Power here. But what's still unclear to me is what the fuck is even going on and who is what and what is who. I know Galadriel shows up at some point, but I don't remember the Silmarillion well enough to know what is supposed to be happening here. So it kind of feels like the Wheel of Time to me, where I'm just like, okay, fine, whatever. If you're going to do that, do it to this. I don't give a shit about this as much, but the quality looks good.
Yeah, I think some of the CG is a little dodgy. Like sometimes it's giving me more of like the Hobbit trilogy vibes, which is kind of a bad thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, it still looks pretty cool. And Galadriel, that part where you see her in the trailer it is from the Silmarillion. It's it's from a chapter called like Galadriel's Climb or something like that. But have you seen like the internet's reaction to this?
Yeah, everyone's being very reactionary about the black dwarves and elves and stuff. And at this point, I know that it can be offensive to certain Tolkienites who take the British Isle myth aspect of this seriously. It's like without sounding like some kind of a supremacist, it's to that certain cohort, it is like taking like Shaka Zulu, the African warlord, and making him played by Ryan Gosling in a movie. It's like that's like where their rage is coming from. But why care? Like they're gonna do so much worse things to this property. As soon as someone buys the rights to it again. So
I just think have you seen like the quote that people are spamming on all the YouTube trailers?
No, I haven't.
Oh my God. If you go on like YouTube and look at the comments, there's a J.R.R. Tolkien quote that everybody's spamming that says, "Evil cannot create anything new. It can only spoil and destroy what has been invented or created by good forces." Right now,
like it's being spammed in Russian.
Yeah, Russian. So it's just so funny because they took away our ability to downvote YouTube videos.
That's true. Yeah. So if people don't like it, they gotta go hard at it.
Yeah.
And yeah, like, and I've also seen just lots of like, Yeah, like just like what's the Black African slang, like putting that in, like trying to like break Tolkien dialogue into sounding like Compton speak. Like I've seen lots of that, just pop up. But okay, yeah, I was looking for because the other trailer that we got, we have dinosaurs in the snow, because I guess they took them to Montana.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
this is weird.
I didn't really see too much from this, but then I saw Chris Pratt riding a horse chasing after whatever those dinosaurs are called. I lost my dinosaur nerd credibility card after I turned like 8 years old. I think I lost all my knowledge.
Yeah, this. Oh man, I think the Jurassic World movies are pretty rough. Like, I think they're pretty terrible as a whole. And
that's being charitable.
Yeah, the only thing that has me excited for this one is the return of the old characters, but I don't know. I'm not going to hold my breath, because just last week I was complaining about Lego sequels when we were talking about Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and that's exactly what this is too. So I mean, I guess we'll see, but I don't like the previous two movies. So
the only thing I remember liking from the first Jurassic World, was the guy grabbing the margaritas and running away from the pterodactyls. That's like the only image that I retained. And I did watch the follow-up because it was on streaming somewhere, and I didn't really give a shit about it. I fell asleep. And I don't think, I guess it looks pretty to a point, but what the fuck is it gonna be about? How many different ways can we see Bryce Dallas Howard almost get eaten by a dinosaur? Yeah. I guess they're gonna show us. They have at least 5 just in the can just for this movie alone. She's doing hardcore parkour with the Velociraptor. Oh god. Oh my god. Yeah, I just need to move on before. Oh no, but now feathers. They're putting feathers on the dinosaurs, man. So is this gonna be the end? Speaking of is this the last one, or are they just gonna are they gonna keep going?
They've been very careful about talking about it in articles and when they're giving quotes, and I think the exact quote they always give is, "This will be the last movie in the Jurassic World series." So there'll obviously be more, but they won't be a part of this series. So
what they need to do is just make a squad shooter game where it's you and like a bunch of dinosaurs that you command. They should just do that. Just make
Turok.
Turok. Speaking of other things that have infinite possibilities, but we get another trailer for Multiverse of Madness. If I clicked on the right thing here, or is this the old one? No, this is the new one. This is the new one. And what did it reveal to us? I haven't seen this yet.
Oh, really? Okay, yeah. So this, the Illuminati are going to show up, if you know who they are.
So wait, Black Panther?
What's that?
Okay, no, I'm thinking of something else.
Their incarnation of the Illuminati, it hasn't been revealed yet. The only tease that we get is you hear Patrick Stewart's voice.
Oh shit! Okay, yeah, because that's what I thought. I thought the Illuminati was like Tony Stark, Patrick Stewart, T'Challa, and Doctor Doom. Yeah. And it's like these are a lot of people. So this is how they're gonna backdoor Fantastic Four by having Doom show up as a member of the Illuminati.
Maybe. There's the scene right there, and then we can't hear it, but this is the part where Patrick Stewart talks. But there is I don't know if you've seen all the people who are like going through the trailer and they're freeze framing every second, but there's a character that flies by the screen really fast right there, that everybody thinks is Tom Cruise's Tony Stark.
Holy shit! What? Yeah. Like, why? Okay, I saw like someone do that, but like, why is that even a rumor?
Because I think he was actually spotted on like the set of this movie.
Oh,
I think there's actually photos of him like hanging around London.
Ooh, is that Shumagorath?
Yeah, Shumagorath.
Yes. Okay, cool. So, they're doing everything, man. Holy shit.
Yeah, it's gonna be wild. And he's gonna play. I mean, if the rumors are true, he's gonna be playing. I think it's Invincible Iron Man. which is like the version of the character that has like the all white armor.
Yeah. Holy shit. Dope.
Yeah,
go wild, Marvel. This is what I've been fucking waiting for.
And directed by Sam Raimi,
of all people. But he doesn't get to play with Spider-Man. They're not gonna like loan him Tom Holland for like a day, or even just bring Toby out. Just get all this, have like a mini No Way Home like moment, just because even Venom gets a moment. So they might as well just keep paying it forward.
Yeah.
But the next thing in our little news that we're gonna bust through, this is mostly just a comment from me on, like, obviously Red Letter Media made a video about it, and other people are doing think pieces and so on. But there's something going on with Bruce Willis. What do you know about that?
Yeah, well, he's been doing nothing but trash direct-to-DVD movies for the past, 15 years?
As is his right, you know? Yeah, basically ever since, like, the last Die Hard movie that he churned out, I think, it wasn't Live Free and Die Hard. No.
It was the fifth one, whatever that one was.
Whatever that one was, it was trash. That's all we really know. It was not very good. But he's also seeming to just, these performances are really bad too. It's like he's not even elevating anything he's in. Like, these movies are crap. Like, Cosmic Sin is one that I've seen recommended to me all the fucking time, but I've just been like, no, I know better. This is late stage Bruce Willis. There's something going on. But it got so bad that the Razzies gave him his own category. And did you hear that bit of news?
I heard. I haven't looked into it, but I heard the tidbit.
Yeah. Basically, his performances were so bad this year. At least the movies were so bad this year that instead of just like there's too many to nominate for the Razzies, which go to the worsts of the year, and he got 8 of his movies, in consideration. So they were just like, okay, you can have your own category. The worst performance by Bruce Willis. So it's comparing all of his performances from American Siege, Apex, Cosmic Sin, Deadlock. There we go. So maybe I can zoom in a little bit more. Fortress, Midnight in the Switchgrass, which is how Megan Fox and Machine Gun Kelly met, apparently.
Oh, God.
Out of Death and Survive the Game. Like, I've only heard of, 5 of the 9, but they're all right there. Mm-hmm. And, it's very sad. But some people have taken their concern to it, or at least they've taken it to a place of concern. Because they're like, well, what if he's just being taken advantage of by handlers because he's actually has early onset dementia? Because if you watch some of these movies, you can see an earbud in his ear, so they're feeding him his lines directly, and he always just has this bemused. He looks a lot like Joe Biden up there. Let's just put it that way. And now some people are like, well, this is obviously some kind of abuse. They're putting him in these crap movies, and he can't say no. And I'm just sitting here thinking, well, maybe his tax situation is similar to Nick Cage's or something. But
well, you know what it is? It's his alimony, because he had I was looking this up because I was trying to figure out kind of some theories for this, and he had a $90 million divorce settlement with Demi Moore.
He's still paying that off?
I don't know. Nobody knows, but all we know is that it was $90 million.
Holy shit.
So I think it's a question of that. And then it's also just, he doesn't give a shit. He wants to maintain his extravagant lifestyle that he's been living for the past 40 years or 35 years. And he just doesn't want to, he doesn't want to step down to a,
he has
what's that?
Yeah, I was like, it's like he has a lifestyle to maintain.
Yeah.
And he's got responsibilities to his ex-wife.
Yeah. So, I mean, he literally, I'm sure he just shows up for, they're probably just like, we'll give you $1 million to show up for 3 days on set. We'll feed you some lines, and then the rest of the time we'll have you be played by a stand-in or by a stunt double and shoot you from behind.
We just need someone who's bald and vaguely your age. The other, I guess, more prestigious announcements was the Oscar nominations for the 94th edition. And we got Belfast for Best Picture, Coda, Don't Look Up, Drive My Car, Dune, King Richard, Licorice Pizza, Nightmare Alley, The Power of the Dog, and West Side Story. Spielberg gets his, elder statesman automatic nomination. But what stood out to you? What was actually kind of surprising to see get recognition this year?
Yeah, well, I'm glad they nominated Drive My Car for Best Picture, because I think Parasite kind of opened the door for foreign language films to get nominated for Best Picture. And, not just give it like the best foreign language film due. They're actually like thinking about these movies for Best Picture noms now. Yeah. And same with, I love that Dune's nominated. But the thing that pisses me off is Denis Villeneuve did not get a Best Director nomination.
They do the same shit to Christopher Nolan too, and I think it might be a political Warner Brothers thing, because
I can see that.
Every time they do well at the Oscars, whether it's like with like Ben Affleck and Argo, but very rarely does the director get the recognition. I guess like Scorsese with The Departed is maybe one example. But when Warner Brothers gets a win or gets a nomination, unless you discount Peter Jackson underneath New Line, but to me that's just my perception of it. I guess it might be completely wrong, but
I can see that.
But at the same time, Nolan very rarely gets nominated for Best Director. I think it only happened with Dunkirk. Every other time it made sense, he was just a Best Picture guy. And then like his editor, cinematographer would win. Yeah.
That's a very good theory. I would not doubt it if it was true, but yeah, that's really the only big like snub. There's other stuff that I kind of raise my eyebrow at. Like I haven't even seen King Richard, but that just kind of
garbage. I can't believe that surprised me, because I was just like barf.
Yeah,
that movie.
It's just kind of superficial, very superficial, and
same with being the Ricardos too.
Yeah.
But then we have Cody Smith McPhee. I was happy to see him get nominated for Power of the Dog. Mm-hmm. Have you seen Coda?
Yeah, it's okay.
It's okay.
That's the one that's on Apple TV Plus. That's the one they bought for a record $25 million at Sundance. Yeah, it's definitely not worth $25 million, but it was okay.
And I don't know. Honestly, I think it would be pretty rad if Andrew Garfield won Best Actor for Tick, Tick, Boom. It's been a long time coming for that man. Mm-hmm. And pretty soulful performance. And Kristen Stewart sneaking in by the skin of her teeth, despite her non-prestige release and pseudo-horror take on Princess Diana. But I guess she gets in because she's royalty,
Yeah, I guess.
And Olivia Colman. And Jessica Chastain for The Eyes of Tammy Faye. I didn't know that. That's very funny. I don't know if I agree with that.
Yeah, I don't know. It's I think they were just kind of trying to fill spots in a lot of these, especially the Best Picture category. That's the only reason Nightmare Alley's nominated, because they needed 10. They needed to round out a 10 slot category. But yeah, the only other thing I guess I would say about this is, every single year I get so like pissed off seeing there's always the same people who are like, why isn't my favorite superhero movie nominated? Or like, why isn't my favorite gory horror movie nominated? And this year, the two movies are Spider-Man and Titan.
And I was going to say, there's no Titan in this list.
Yeah, and it's like, you people do not have an ounce of critical thinking skills, because these are not the movies that the Academy Awards nominates. Like fuck how good you think they are as movies. You just do not fundamentally understand what movies get nominated for Academy Awards. You
have to mature a little bit, real, and just kind of, like you say, think critically about what the actual question is. Mm-hmm. And the question is, what is the Academy going to elevate? What is their priority going to be? That's why there's a whole genre of films just called Oscar bait, because they are made to appeal to those sensibilities. And of course, what Oscar bait does oscillate as time passes and people die and new people are given membership. But yeah, I do wish that Steven Spielberg didn't get his, bullshit nomination, because he's the only one up there, like for Best Director, that I don't think deserves it. Like, and I would say, Villeneuve definitely does. But you can, Belfast, I still need to see it, but I still respect what he did with that a little bit more than whatever West Side Story was.
Yeah, but, I would agree. Yeah, that's Spielberg's probably the one that I would swap out too.
But yeah, it goes deeper, and we can get more technical, but we'll save that for the actual night itself.
Yeah,
which is something that I hadn't anticipated is basically going to be going. We could literally live stream the Oscars and be one of the, if you think about it.
Okay.
Yeah, like we as the results come in, we could like, I don't know.
Oh yeah, it'll be on a Sunday. So,
it'll be on a Sunday. Yeah. So exactly. But the only other little thing we have to discuss before we dive into the rest of the show, very briefly, well, yeah, what the fuck is going on with Alex Garland's Men? Like, what is this, and why? Yeah. And why is it hurting people so much?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I think Alex Garland has very similar sensibilities to Jordan Peele, where he likes to keep his movies under wraps, and a big pull of his movies are the underlying mystery. He doesn't want people to figure out what they're about, and the trailer speaks for itself. I have no idea what this is about, but my question kind of going into this was, why does A24 market all of their movies as horror movies, and why are they never actually horror movies? Because this is not, I'd be willing to put money on the fact that as much as this looks like a horror movie in this trailer, it will not be, it'll be anything but when it actually comes out. My guess is it'll be a slow moving drama. That'd be my guess, but they're marketing it this way, and all it ever leads to are people pissed off about that movie was boring, or like, oh, that's not the movie I paid for.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
I don't know why they keep doing it, but they did it with Saint Maud, they did it with The Lighthouse, they did it with It Comes at Night, they did it with Lamb was the big one. But yeah, I don't know, what do you think?
They do kind of have a marketing problem, and well, whether or not they think it is one, I guess, is the question. Because for them, however they're marketing it right now, it appears to be working. They're like, this is what we want. It's getting the results they want. It may be pissing off the customers, but it's effective enough to get people to stream it or go see it in a theater. But I guess I don't know if the actual metrics are true, but something internally is in A24. They're just like, this is how we do it. This is our brand. It's
become a verb.
It's true. Yeah.
Yeah, because you were I can't remember when, maybe a week or so ago, you posted something about when Tom Holland used A24 as a verb in a sentence.
Yes. Yeah, because it's when people don't realize what a distribution company is versus a production company. But yeah, not everybody needs to be an industry nerd, I guess, but at the same time, have a basic understanding of what the fuck you're talking about when this kind of thing is on the line. Like, you're supposed to be a big movie star. How do you not know what this thing is versus that thing? I don't know. Because yeah. Anyways. We also, so you kind of caught, along with the Super Bowl yesterday, you also were able to see the Jeopardy National College Championship.
Yeah.
That's always, like, game shows are fun. It's been a long time since I've seen it, but what is Jeopardy like in the post-Trebek era?
Yeah, I think it's pretty good. I can never catch Jeopardy because it's on at such a weird time. I think it's on like at 4:30 every day. And so I can never really catch it. And it's nice to have these like college tournaments because they always put them on during prime time. So it's usually 7 p.m. on weeknights. And they're always an hour long. So you get 2 full games of Jeopardy instead of 1.
Nice.
And now they're hosted by Mayim Bialik, and she does a pretty good job. She's very good at moving things along. She doesn't stop to like talk with the contestants for too long. Like some of the, oh God, this summer when they had the guest host, some of them were so bad. Like Katie Couric.
Oh no, because they're just auditioning, you know. So the more that they're talking, the better in their mind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's good, and the college championship is about halfway through now, and I think it starts up. They're on like the semifinals now, and it starts up again tomorrow, I believe. And yeah, it's just really fun to be able to watch it at night and to get a full hour at Jeopardy. And yeah, I don't really have a whole lot to say other than that. It's just fun to watch.
Right on. Good recommendation. Good to know that it still is out there, and that it because I haven't watched The Price is Right since Barker left, but that's just me.
Oh yeah, me too. Yeah.
But you also got to see Catch the Fair One, which is a movie we've discussed before, at least just in anticipation of it. What was it like? Did it hold up?
Yeah, it was good. I rented this on video on demand, and we talked about it a little bit last week, but it's about a amateur boxer whose sister gets trafficked as like a prostitute, and she goes after her to try and get her back. And it's very, very dark and extremely like, oh man, like there's some stuff. They go hard in like the world of human trafficking. Like there's stuff that you find out in this movie that you're like about the world of human trafficking and how it works. And you're just kind of like, oh God, did I really need to know that? Or like, that's not something that I really wanted. That's not a piece of information that I wanted in my head, you know? And but it's very good, a very good thriller. It's literally 85 minutes long. It gets in and gets out. And I always appreciate that nowadays when a movie can just has something to say and it knows exactly what it is. And it was actually written by the woman who stars in it. Her name's Callie Rise, and she co-wrote the movie, and she is actually a boxer in real life too.
Holy shit!
She's done HBO cards before back when HBO used to do the boxing on like Saturday nights.
No kidding. So real deal boxer.
Yeah.
And an actress and a screenwriter.
Yeah.
That's very compelling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and she was great. She's really a natural, and I know a lot of times with these smaller, low budget movies, you get, at least a couple actors who are very unconvincing because they're kind of scraping the bottom of the barrel for talent. But everyone was really good in this, and Kevin Dunn. You know Kevin Dunn?
Yeah,
Kevin
I saw
Dunn
him pop up there.
Yeah, he's like in literally 2 scenes in the movie, but he's used really, really well as kind of like the ringleader of the human trafficking ring. Because
she's just going like John Wick, which is a verb now. She's just John Wicking through whatever organization took. So to me, just like kind of more like realizing what this movie's about. This is like the most Korean sounding Hollywood revenge thriller. Like that is. It's just okay. I need to see this now.
Yeah, you should. It's very good and incredibly. That's a very good description of a Korean thriller because it gets pretty intense at times and very like, it uses its violence sparingly, but there are points it's punctuated by very, very extreme bursts of violence.
So visually, it calls to mind. Is it Jeremy Saulnier who did Blue Ruin?
Yes.
Yeah. It kind of reminds me of that too. Just like that pared down, very like eye level camera. You're just following this person on their, very, topsy turvy rampage of revenge.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a very apt description. But yes, highly recommend to anybody. It's out there to rent now, and I think it's even in limited release in some theaters, but yeah, very, very good.
If you live in a more civilized realm than Minot, you could probably see it. Before the show, we were trying to pick out what we were going to do next week, and the 9 screens that they have at this AMC theater, they have 2 fucking movies. But anyway, so the game itself yesterday, the Super Bowl, I do know the score. I do know that the Rams found a way to win. get Matthew Stafford his first Super Bowl. Cooper Kupp was MVP. Bengals Nation is in tears. They're in shambles, as it were. Did you watch the entire game?
I watched most of it. I watched through the third quarter, and it was pretty good. I always hate Super Bowls when they're like the final score is like 10-7 or something like that.
Yeah.
But this was a pretty good one. It was, it was a game of defense basically. It was, two of like the best defenses in football, and it was a good game. And I don't know if did you watch any of it, or did you watch any playoffs leading up to this?
I paid attention to the playoffs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good playoffs this year.
Yes, it was. It was like the great parity. You never knew who was going to win a game. Like once you get past the additional round of games, the play-in game that they added, because those were brutally bad. It just turned into these shootouts and these overtime thrillers. And the fact that, all it took for Matthew Stafford to win a Super Bowl was get the fuck out of Detroit, and suddenly he can slay Tom Brady in the playoffs. And, I feel good for Matthew Stafford. I watched a lot of him, toiling in, complete despair, while that organization wasted the greatest receiver in a generation, and him. It's like he had a good chance to do something historically, coming out of Alabama too. Yeah, I was really plugged into sports in that era when he first entered. Yeah. But were there any good commercials?
Yeah, so, it was, the theme this year seemed to be electric cars.
Yeah, I did see that one.
And cryptocurrency commercials. And so did you see the Sopranos one?
No, I did not. I got to pull
about this?
I've seen a meme.
Oh my God. It was
it was a crossover wire meme, but I can't explain the intricacies of it, but I'm just going to pull that up so I can just have it on.
It was wild. It was like, I don't know, part of me was like, okay, this is kind of cool, but this also feels very dirty. To sell, I think they're selling Chevy Silverados in this commercial.
What the fuck? Because they're going electric. Oh yeah, look at that, the new tower.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, they recreated it like beat for beat, and it's for anybody who hasn't seen it, it's Meadow driving, and then she shows up, I think, at the diner from the finale.
Oh,
and,
what?
Yeah, and AJ's there. AJ's at the diner, and they hug. AJ and her hug. And
oh my God, that's wild.
It's very interesting. But
unfortunately, okay, maybe is this? Yeah, okay. Here's the actual commercial. That was like a dumb little analysis.
Comparison.
Yeah.
Okay. But that was probably the most interesting commercial. It was honestly not very interesting this year for the commercials.
The other electric car one that I saw was Salma Hayek and Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh, Zeus and Hera.
Yeah, like that. Like the Electric Avenue ad, it just made me want to die.
Yeah,
everything was too perfect.
But I'll give a quick shout out. There was a Squarespace ad this year that was directed by Edgar Wright that starred Zendaya. Did you see this one at all?
No, I'll pull it up.
Okay. This I'll give this one a shout out because it was actually choreographed by my brother-in-law.
No shit. Yeah. That man just doing amazing things.
Yeah, so
so whoever Edgar Wright, is working with, like, he seems to keep returning to them, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think he used to work. The guy who did the choreography for Baby Driver, he was his assistant for a while. So that's why he's kind of tied to Edgar Wright.
I see.
My brother-in-law, but
very cool.
He did all this choreography and all of like the weird dancing and stuff in it. So,
well, congrats to him. He's very happy for him.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, other than that, cryptocurrency is kind of ruling the airwaves, and and QR codes. Did you see any of like the QR code?
So that there's like, okay, put your phone up to the TV now, and then you can access this thing.
Yeah, so pretty much.
Well, the absolutely most direct advertising possible because it's coming out of your fucking screen to you.
Yeah, there was one this year of the cryptocurrency company Coinbase, they had an ad that was literally just 30 seconds of a QR code bouncing around the screen.
Like a screensaver?
Yeah, like you remember the old DVD screensavers?
It
was
funny.
Literally that.
That's cute.
And there was no music or anything.
That's okay. That's annoying. That would piss me the fuck off because I'd be like, is there something wrong? Is the broadcast dead? You just have to wonder.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, either the ads are just too like sweet and saccharine, or they're trying to like be like the city, like commerce building with like, you know, community building type ads.
Oh yeah.
They can get kind of insufferable. I'll never forget the first Super Bowl commercial I remember, you know, was the Frog Budweiser one. Mm-hmm. That's the first one that I remember. But moving on from that, somebody came out of retirement recently to once again flex his muscles, using aliases to, you know, shoot and edit and do everything under the sun for his movies. But Steven Soderbergh returned to streaming, which is, you know, he's a pretty hip guy. I can understand him just kind of saying fuck theaters. I don't give a shit.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And he delivered unto us Kimi, which, you know, is a lot of different, I guess, you know, influences. I would say it is the first good COVID movie, you know, like genuinely good. Like you could watch it at any point, I guess. You could remove yourself quite a bit from this era and still probably enjoy it. But it's, yeah, Rear Window in the age of COVID when everybody has an Alexa or like a Google Dot, you know, talking to them, and people just flirt through windows at each other. But of course it also is a very hip techno thriller because it does play with very creepy realities, you know, regarding the surveillance necessary to have an automated, curated existence with digital assistance by algorithms. But that's, I guess, if I was gonna compare it to anything, it's the second time I had the thought in 2 weeks, because watching Moonfall, I was like, this is a bad Warren Ellis script. They should have just given Warren Ellis the responsibility of writing the dialogue, and this movie would be 1,000 times better. And in this instance, it just felt like a really good techno, like Warren Ellis futurist kind of a thing, a grounded Warren Ellis story. But what was your takeaway?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. You know, another movie that just respects your time. 89 minutes, and it was, yeah, a well done thriller with a couple of. I think the thing that I told you before we started our podcast was, it was a mostly well done thriller, but I feel like sometimes Steven Soderbergh is fighting his inner first year film student, where there's some really baffling sequences in this movie where it's just like, okay, that was weird, or like that was pretty like hokey.
Yeah.
The one that comes to mind is when Angela, I think her name is Zoe Kravitz's character, when she listens to the recording for the first time, and she's like seeing it in her head, like play out in her head.
Yeah.
And it looks like it was filmed through like Vaseline. And then it's the only scene that they got. The actress Erica Christensen plays the woman who was murdered. And the acting is so bad in that scene between her and the guy that
it's soap opera bad. Like,
yeah, it was so bad. It was, oh God. And
but yeah, it did kind of have that stuff in particular. Like that's why it evokes Rear Window, not only in plot but in it. Like there's parts of this techno thriller that feel like they were shot 50, 60 years ago.
Yeah,
if not like more at this point, because time just keeps on marching. But yeah, like it almost felt like a hokey kind of a Hitchcock movie at times, where it was like, this is what they would have done a long ass time ago, because it's quaint. Yeah, like it felt quaint in parts.
Yeah,
and yeah,
and then the other bad actor I thought was, do you know who Derek Delgadio is?
I don't remember the name, but who did he play in this?
So in the movie, he played the CEO of
holy
of
shit,
the corporation, and that guy in real life, he's not even an actor; he's a magician.
Yeah,
Like,
I looked that up. I had heard about it. Yeah, now that I connect the dots, I'd looked him up for a different reason, because there was like a documentary about him and like about his magic act, and I was interested in that. But then I just like moved on from it. And then but when I watched this, I was like, why is that face so familiar? And it's because I had seen that poster for that documentary about him. But yeah, like him and that Erica Christensen, a very poorly casted pair, the best that I guess he had to work with. But otherwise, the performances were pretty good. And like there were familiar faces even. Like her therapist is Lane's mom from Gilmore Girls, this little Korean lady.
oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was just like, holy shit, yeah, and so on and so forth. But and even like her like white knight neckbeard neighbor, who is a hero because he was creeping on her, basically.
Yeah.
like that's the older brother Buzz or whatever from Home Alone.
Yeah, Buzz.
Yeah.
And then, what's her name? Tom Hanks' wife, Rita
Yes!
Wilson, shows up.
Shows up playing a lady named Chowdhury, which is a Indian diaspora name. And so I guess maybe she married an Indian guy and who has a corporate job. But it's like, who knows? But lots of curveballs in the casting where it was just like, okay, you're here for a minute, now you're gone forever. Yeah, but what did you think of the guys playing the goons, the hitmen?
Oh yeah, they were fine. I mean, they
were just memorable visually to me. Like you had,
because I mean, going back to Home Alone, they basically were Marv, and you had the short, slightly chubby Mexican, and then like a tall, lanky white dude, and
like a lurch.
Yeah. So, but they were fine, and then like I know a lot of people the problem that they kind of have with this movie is the last like 10 minutes or so, because it gets pretty out there, it gets pretty wild.
Yeah.
And I don't know, what did you think of that?
Well, yeah, because like they had set up some of it in terms of her like having an edge on the bad guys at the end, because like her dad had been the contractor, so she had intimate knowledge of the layouts of her own apartment. So I like up until like when she escaped from there, I was with it, and then when she just starts murdering everyone like an assassin with a nail gun, I was just like, holy fuck, what? And then that happy as fuck ending when she finally gets over her agoraphobia, it goes outside for a Mexican rap. And
then freeze frames.
Yeah, like that shit. Like that's what I was just like, what the fuck are you doing, Steven? Like, you're better than this. Like, you should be re-editing a black and white version of the Temple of Doom for me, is what you should be doing. Like, why are you making this? Like, I have no complaints with this movie, really. Good date night movie. You like a good little tense little thriller, little hokey at times, but it's on purpose, so we can't really call him out for it. I don't think, unless it was accidental and just his own pretension getting in the way. But the script was actually written by David Cope, or Cape, however you say that.
Yeah.
And so that he might be a little bit more responsible for some things in this than Soderbergh.
Yeah, very prolific screenwriter. He's been kind of on a downtrend lately. I don't know if you ever saw his last movie was I Think You Should Leave, I think is what it's called.
Okay.
No, You Should Have Left.
You Should Have Left. I haven't heard of that.
It's a Kevin Bacon, Amanda Seyfried horror movie. Oh God, it was so bad.
Oh, it's the kind of movie that the first thing that pops up when you YouTube it is ending explained. So like,
yeah.
Oh yeah, I have seen the trailer for this.
Yeah, it was pretty bad, but
yeah.
But yeah, he's hit or miss, because this is the man who wrote the screenplay for Jurassic Park, so you got to give him some credit. So
and didn't he also do Panic Room as well?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So the dude's got pedigree, but yeah, it did kind of elevate, well trod ground. You steal from the best, you kind of make it work for your own. I just wish it had plumbed the depths of the horror that is the surveillance society we live in. Like a movie that did a better job of diving or like staring into the abyss of that question, or of like that awareness rather, is the Beta Test that came out last year.
Oh yeah.
But this was a pretty effective, using things that people should be more aware of and concerned about to, a very entertaining effect. A lot better than I thought it was going to be, even though I don't understand why it's called Kimi.
Isn't that the name of the Alexa thing?
Yeah, but why make that the title of the movie?
Oh yeah, I guess I don't know.
I don't know. I don't have an alternative title. Maybe if I think about it, I'll come up with something better. But coming up, any last thoughts?
Real quick. Yeah, last thing I wanted to say, just to kind of give Soderbergh his due diligence. There was one thing that I noticed in the movie that I really, really liked, just kind of a little flourish, and it's the scene where Zoe Kravitz first listens to the audio file, and she grabs, it's right after I think she like works out, and she grabs like a kombucha out of her fridge, and she places it on her counter, but it's like half hanging off of the ledge. Do you remember that scene?
I do, yeah.
And the camera kind of zooms in on it, and it's like, okay, what is that? Like, why did she put it on the edge of her counter, and why is the camera zooming in? Yeah. But then she listens to the audio file and starts getting engrossed in like that whole situation.
Holy shit, that's what that was.
Yeah, he uses it as a setup for like a jump scare, basically, where the kombucha falls off the counter and it breaks on the ground, but you completely forget about it by then because you're so engrossed in like the mystery that's unfolding. Yeah, no, like, when that thing happens, when it falls, I rewound it. I am not kidding you, like 3 times, because I was like, what the fuck was that? Like, like it took like, and until you just explained it just now, I didn't connect the dots. That's how that's how dense I am. Holy shit. It was very, I just thought it was very well set up, and it was very, you forgot about it basically because you were so engrossed in like the mystery going on, and then suddenly it falls and it's a jump scare basically, but it's a very, very well done, not cheap one. Basically.
Yeah, because like you say, like that scene is so grabbing. You're so concerned with what she is like peeling back and discovering as she keeps on throwing different filters and processes on the sample. Goddamn, it's just not registering how effective that was, because otherwise it just takes the basic format of Rear Window, but instead of having somebody who desperately wants to leave their room but can't, it's someone who can't, just like and it does do a pretty decent job of exploring what that mental state must be like, and even though it is a little trite with how it ties everything up in a bow at the end, but worthwhile. I'm glad that he's still making movies for a retired filmmaker. He should just not be retired anymore. But coming up next week, we have Uncharted finally coming to us with not Nathan Fillion, but Mark Wahlberg and Tom Holland. And who directed this? Do we know?
Yeah, it's Ruben Fleischer, the guy who did the Zombieland movies.
All right, so somewhat competent. I would trust him sooner than some people.
Yeah, because I think for a while, I mean, there have been so many directors attached to this, like what's his name? Oh God, the fighter, the guy who directed The Fighter and I Heart Huckabees.
What's his name? On it. Yeah, American Hustle, Silver Linings Playbook. Is it David something?
Yeah.
Oh my God, where's my phone?
We're both blanking on it.
We're both blanking on it.
But people know who we're talking about. He was attached to it, and then at one point, the guy who directed 10 Cloverfield Lane was attached to it, and now it's Ruben Fleischer's vehicle, and it's, I don't know, it looks very uninteresting to me, and it doesn't seem to be following the games that closely.
No, it does not. I've only ever played the first one. Okay. And I don't remember it being like this.
Yeah, it's the one thing that they seem to have in common is the plane sequence that you see all over the trailers, that's in the games.
Okay.
But otherwise, yeah, it just looks kind of bland, and it's actually already getting reviews for this started showing up online last week, and it's getting pretty terrible reviews.
Oh no. So. Well, that's unfortunate. Looks really expensive. I'm sorry that they had to do that. I looked up, and it was David O. Russell. And
David O. Russell, yeah.
And there was literally like a fan grabbed him on a rope line and was like, "You have to cast Nathan Fillion as Nathan Drake. You must do it." And he's just like, "I don't fucking know who Nathan Fillion is. I don't give a shit about Uncharted." And then he just like walked away, and then very soon after was replaced.
Yeah. Okay. And then what do we got next?
The Cursed.
Yes. Yeah. So. Yeah, we were talking a little bit about this one before we went live, but for anybody that doesn't know, this premiered at Sundance over a year ago, 2021 Sundance. And this was formerly known as the way, way better name of 8 for Silver.
8 for Silver.
Yeah. And
you can change on here.
I've actually heard very good things about this. I mean, reviews have literally been online for this for a year. Like people saw it over a year ago, and so it has very good word of mouth, and yeah, it should be pretty good. And we were actually hoping to maybe see this one for this week, but
I've been foiled.
Yeah, you've been foiled.
I'm sure I could find it creatively, because after things have been in the ether, as it were, long enough, I'm sure I could find it. Mm-hmm. But I'd rather not have dubious provenance, when I watch something this good.
Yeah.
Or at least good looking.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake will be coming to Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
Ted K. I saw the trailer for this, and I had to share it because it just looked so freaking cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sharlto Copley doing his Oscar best for Neon.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't remember hearing about this movie until the trailer first came out like a month ago.
Same.
And then ever since then, it's been all like people have been sharing it all over, and there's a lot of hype going into this one, I think.
Because it's the true crime obsession. People are just really into true crime, and he is an ultimate story. He's such a character. Like, I've listened to the last podcast series on him multiple times because he's just a fascinating guy. And I have read his manifesto. I will admit that I have read it.
Oh, is it online?
Yeah, it's everywhere. And but I'm ready to see this movie. Basically, I'm ready to see this performance and watch him eat lots of potatoes.
Yeah. I never thought we'd ever see a Sharlto Copley star vehicle ever again, and
right?
I'm glad that we have this.
I know. I love him as an actor. Like, ever since I saw District 9, I have been a stan of his.
Yeah.
But yeah, Hollywood had worn out their interest in him.
Mm-hmm.
We can't show you on screen.
And then I think the last thing we've got on our coming soon list is
Severance.
Yeah, one that the both of us were looking forward to, and from our episode about our most anticipated and Ben Stiller joint. So
exactly, man. He's a capable director. Like, a lot of I know that he gets the credit, but I think like the audiences at large don't know this side of him because not too many people have Showtime. And not too many people have Apple TV Plus either. But this just looks so unique, and I'm looking forward to it quite a bit.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, and then I think that's everything. And then to close us out here, I'll take care of this since I was the one who put it on our list. But our parting question this week is going to be, what was the first R-rated movie you remember seeing as a child? Was it at home or in a theater? And was the viewing of it okayed by your parents? or was it on the down low? Was it something you snuck into or what have you?
So it's okay. Yeah, that's
But,
going to be a lot of fun. As soon as I saw it, I started laughing because it's
yeah,
it's a memory that I hold dear.
hmm
Yeah.
but that'll be that. That'll be the parting question, and yeah, otherwise, pretty good show. A short one this week, but that's
Yeah.
kind of by design.
Yeah, I didn't have the ability to watch too much. I spent a lot of time in a car. So
Yeah.
I will shout out Cold Fusion. He makes pretty good YouTube documentaries about pretty interesting topics. And who's another one? Oh, Jack One Eye, I believe is his name.
Okay.
He does speed run history documentaries.
Oh, okay.
So if you
Yeah.
care about the history of the methods of beating King's Quest 6, then he's your guy. It's interesting because he's even like one of the people breaking the records at a certain point in the story. But that's how I kept myself awake at night. But I'm glad to be up and running. Glad everything survived the move. My computer still works. My camera didn't break. And yeah, and now I have, distraction, a little goblin right here.
Yeah.
So I should probably sign off. It was good to get back in the saddle with you, Matt, and we'll be back on Sundays for regularly scheduled programming. Find us on Facebook. And yeah, have a good one.
See ya.
See ya.